Pokemon is turning 25 this year, and it's already made a huge impact. Not only has it been selling out Happy Meal toys across the world, Unova got gypped, it's also rubbing elbows with Katy Perry and Post Malone. Okay. Pokemon holds a very special place in my heart, and I'm sure for a lot of you it holds a special place as well. So, to celebrate this anniversary, I wanted to talk about one of the most important Pokemon games to me, and that is Pokémon X, or, in my case, Pokémon Y. I was a huge Pokemon fan growing up. I got into the series around the end of Generation 3 and the beginning of Generation 4. My first Pokemon game was Leaf Green, but I consider my childhood generation to be Generation 4. I played the heck out of Pokemon Pearl. I was a little kid at the time though, and as I got older, I developed interest in different things. You know, gotta get those John Cena t-shirts. Around Generation 5, while I did play the games, I kind of fell out of the series. That is until 2013, we got a new trailer showing the next generation of Pokemon, and it was in 3D now. It looked amazing. It was so cool to finally see them make that transition. This immediately got me back into Pokemon. I could not wait for this release date. I'll always remember the day getting the game. I was at my grandma's house, and I had just enough money saved up because I didn't work at the time, I was still a kid, and I remember just running home from GameStop, because I paid for it too, and when you're young and you pay for it with your own money, it feels that much more special to you. And I remember my 3DS was at low battery, and there wasn't like a charger closer to the couch, so I had to awkwardly sit sideways on the couch so that my 3DS would reach. But I didn't care, I was just so happy playing this game. And because of that, I'm kind of hesitant to go back to it, you know? I mean, now when you go back for a second playthrough, that first time shine is left. And now you're gonna look at the game more critically, so it's definitely worried about that going into it. However, I would be lying if I said this was the only reason I was talking about the game. Certainly, it was enough for me to want to talk about it on this channel, but there's a stigma, starting with Pokemon X and Y, that has been going around the Pokemon fanbase. This was the jump into 3D Pokemon, a new era for the series, and what's unfortunate about that is whenever someone brings up Pokemon Y nowadays, it seems to be with a negative light, with that one sentence. When Pokemon became bad. And that's a heavy statement. This is a series that's been going around for years and years, 25 years. So to say that there's an exact turning point for the series where the quality just took a nosedive, that was really upsetting for me because, again, I have lots of fond memories with this game. While I usually use these videos to just talk about my experience with the game, I also wanted to use this opportunity to address those claims. If Pokemon Y really was the start to the alleged decline of Pokemon. I'll talk about that more at the end of the video, but for now, let's hop on the train and return to the Kalos region. The Kalos region is based on France, and the beauty of France is brought into this world so well. Combine that with the 3D, and you have one of the most charming regions in the series. It's personally my favorite region. It is just so fun to explore. The personality in this game is great, all symbolized by Lumio City, the biggest city we've had in Pokemon games this far. There's so many areas. There's alleyways, there's the main plaza, there's cafes. There's a lot of cafes. Oh, there's a lot of them here. Okay. There's even blackouts, and people are allowed to pass, but you're not, so enjoy yourself. We're also in this cute little chibi style. I bet they'll never do that again. It's not completely scaled. You're kind of half the size of buildings. It's very stylistic, actually. It's very cute. It looks kind of like a diorama, and I think that adds to the beauty of the Kalos region. It feels like one of the only Pokemon games where they really had an art style. But to put a little bow on it, it's just a really pretty game. If I had to have one complaint about it, it's that there's so many areas where you're just not able to explore, and that stinks because there's so many different set pieces you'll pass in this game, and it's just like, oh cool, what's this? And I'll be like, it's there. And it's like, no, I wanna go see it. There's a power plant on Route 13 that you need to explore in order to light Lumio City back up. And there's just so many different entrances, but you could only explore one. And it's like, why are all the doors there? Are there legendary Pokemon there? What's down there? I want to explore it. But you can't, because you don't have a key card, my boy. Oh, you get a key card? Oh, this is only for one door, though. It's like, alright, I guess. Then there's the train station in Koroway Town. Koroway Town's weird. Like, I know it's not a city, it's only a town, so it's going to be smaller, but literally all you do here is battle Professor Sycamore. And it's like, oh, okay. Then there's this big train station. It's like, oh, cool. And the lady's like, oh, this is pretty mysterious. And then there's no train. Like, there's a monorail in this game, so maybe, like, connect it to that to just tie it together. But nope, there's a train station. It probably takes you to Animal Crossing or something. And I was gonna talk about the Anastar City Sundial, this gigantic gem that's in the middle of town. It has its own section, but they got me there. In the post-game, you can explore that area, and it will tell you where Megastones are throughout the region, so they did cover that. I'll shut my mouth there. A lot of people will say that this is probably because a Pokemon Z was going to be planned at one point, a third version that expanded on more of the game. Kind of like a Pokemon Platinum or a Pokemon Emerald, but honestly, I'm sure the Pokemon Company knew that their next game was going to be Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, so why not add those little things to just satiate that desire? At the very least, it gives Kalos a lot of lore, things to speculate about. Maybe one day we'll get answers, but there are a lot of things in Pokemon that are never explained, so I'm not holding my breath. The Pokemon of this generation were pretty good. I think it's weird that we have a Luchador in the France region, but there aren't too many I remember. I mean, this gave us Greninja, who is literally the most popular Pokemon, so I guess that's merit enough. There are some standouts for me, but overall I thought this generation was fine. I'm assuming since this was a new 3D generation, they wanted to keep things simple. It's the first game on the 3DS, so I'm sure Game Freak was like, oh, we're gonna get new players, let's make it accessible. So yeah, it's a pretty standard Pokemon game. The game opens in Vanville Town. You're awoken by a fletchling and you get to customize your trainer. That's a long time coming, but that's awesome. You can choose how they look. Very simple to start, but just like basic features, that's great. There's more opportunities to customize your trainer down the road, and it's just such a great addition. You get haircuts, you can get contact lenses, you could get different clothes. This is great. It really makes you feel like your own trainer, and while the options could be expanded on, there's not too many of them, it's nice to have that there in the first place. Although, I am very fond of Callum's design. Look, he even has a zip-up turtleneck. We're like matching. You leave Vanville Town, you go to Route 1, which Route 1 is just a hallway. What? Alright, I just wish it was longer, where you can at least see Pokemon in it. Then you meet your friends. You have 4 of them. You got Shauna, Tierno, Trevor, and depending on the trainer you chose, Callum or Serena. And a lot of people don't like these friends. They said there's too many of them, they're kind of just all happy, but this is a pretty cheerful game. Again, this is the Kalos region. It's about beauty and just happiness and charm. I don't think we really need a mean rival. It's a group of friends. Why would one of them be mean? They would not be in the friend group anymore. I appreciate that they were written to all have different goals though, which is important. Your main trainer rival, Serena or Callum, wants to be the very best just like you, so that's your main competition in the game. But then you have Shauna, who still chooses a starter Pokemon like you and your main rival, but she's kind of just there to have fun with her friends. And honestly, if there were Pokemon in the real world, yeah, wouldn't you just want to run around and have fun? Then you have Trevor, who just wants to dance. Too bad there's no dance type, so he has a Corphish for some reason. I guess Corphish can do what he wants. Look, he has so many legs, he could dance. And you have Trevor, who wants to complete his Pokédex, which is a very reasonable thing to want. Yeah, we Pokemon trainers out there are completionists. We'd want to catch them all, and that makes sense. I'm cool with the friends. They don't have a huge arc. There is one point in the game where they grow as characters, but for the most part, they're just happy to be there. They're your pals. So while they're not as much as a driving force as past rivals like Blue and Silver, this game kind of shakes it up. We're all here to have fun. Let's just go on a Pokemon adventure. You get your starter Pokemon, and then you make your way through the game. It's the gym challenge. It is the Pokemon tradition. Similar to the tradition of the gym challenge, we also have the tradition of the evil team. Enter Team Flare. They're okay. They're alright. I enjoy that they're stylish. We even got Pitbull here, Mr. Worldwide, gonna collab with Post Malone. But it's their goals that kind of get me. They want to create a beautiful world. I respect that. But they want to kill everyone in it? Like, oh my goodness, we're talking about killing already. That's a big one. It's similar to what Cyrus wanted in Team Galactic for Diamond and Pearl. He wanted to create his own world, but Lysander is just like, forget the nonsense of all this science. Let's just destroy it. It's so straightforward. Like, alright, I guess you could appreciate it for being so straightforward, but I would have liked to see a little more. Like, you just wanna kill everything. Alright, fair enough. Check the box off. I guess it's better than more water, more land. You're literally a scientist, Maxie. You know this would not work scientifically. Something that's really cool about Team Flare, though, is the boss, Lysander. He's a descendant of royalty, and that's so interesting to me. Kalos is a region that's definitely dipped in royalty. There's a lot of castles in this game. There's one massive castle that you have to explore that also completely destroys the pacing in between Gym 1 and 2. But I mean, you gotta find that Furfrou. This was cute, though. This was cute. But back on topic, there's kings, there's queens, and Lysander is a descendant of the old king of Kalos. They never do anything about that. I think you could have really made Team Flare stand out if you had royalty to them. I know they already kind of did that with Black and White with Getsis, but I mean, you're already kind of using Team Galactic's plan. You might as well go all in. A royal war. That would be cool. But no, it's kind of just forgotten about, and it's so weird. However, the connection with royalty is with another character, with AZ. What a weird, weird character. He's so mysterious. He just appears, and he's 3,000 years old, and he's a giant. Like, what? This was one of the more interesting parts in the game for me. I like that Pokemon actually took the time to make its own side character in this game, because with every Pokemon game, you kind of expect to just, you know, do the gym challenge, beat the evil team, catch the legendary Pokemon, become the champion. But to have a character like AZ be this separate story that adds to the lore of the game is so cool. And his story is such an interesting one. It talks about the royalty of Kalos and the war that used to happen and all the death. Like, it gets dark for a game that's as happy as X and Y. But his motivations make sense. It makes more sense than Lysander, who just wants to destroy the world because he doesn't want Pokemon to be treated wrong. Like, you're killing the Pokemon too. But AZ's Pokemon that he loves so dearly died in this war, and he built this machine to bring it back to life, but he still used it to lash out against the people that brought this pain upon his Pokemon. And the Pokemon left him, and now he's living with despair, and he's this old because the life energy is keeping him alive now. It's such a strong message of what you would go through to bring someone back to life that you love dearly, and if you can't let go of their death. And that ties in perfectly with the themes of X and Y, which is life and death. Xerneas is the life, Yveltal is the death. And I really like that AZ's Pokemon is a Floette. Like, it's not a fully evolved Pokemon, it's not a baby, it's a middle evolution, and it's not even a super advertised Pokemon. It feels so personal that way. And the ending, oh my goodness, the ending where Floette comes back to him, you could feel how happy he is. He's trembling, he's so happy. It's such a beautiful scene, and people will only remember AZ because it's a meme now. Darn it. But AZ is a great character. probably one of my favorite parts of the game. In fact, I wish more characters took something from AZ. A lot of characters here don't feel like they have a purpose, like Dexio and Cena, who just kind of give you these updates to your Pokédex and key items and stuff like that, which is cool, but they feel so randomly implemented. Similar to Mr. Bonding. This is a weirdo right here. I get that Dexio and Cena might be like traveling superheroes, but I think they would have really worked if they were in little shops in Lumio City. That'd be really cool, and it gives Lumio City more things to do than just go to cafes. I mean, even Diantha, you barely see her. She's the champion. She didn't even help you stop Team Flare. She just shows up. And she's a movie star. Unova was last generation, my boy. Come on. To extend from that, I wish they did more with the gym leaders, like Clement. Clement. You are the gym leader of Lumio City. You run Prism Tower as a gym, which is the symbol of this region. And he's barely there. I mean, maybe I'm harder on him because he's such a prevalent part of the anime, but like, you're an electric type gym leader. The city was suffering from blackout. The power plant is right below. And I did not see you helping me out. Were you in those random doors? Where did you get the key card? Oh. Missed opportunity there, man. There should have been more with Clement, but nope, he's just a regular gym leader. Bonnie, run the game show. But I can't be too negative because they actually do use some of the leaders to work. Like Karina, probably the most recognizable gym leader from this generation, unless you count Clement from the anime. Karina actually has plot importance. She teaches you about one of the biggest features of this game, Mega Evolution. It's very interesting and it gives Karina importance. She's more than just a gym leader. She's the next in line of this ongoing tradition. That's so cool. Mega Evolutions, man. How do we not talk about Mega Evolutions? That's a huge part of this game. And I really enjoy it, actually. It's such a cool way to give more life into these Pokemon that are done with their evolutionary lines. It's a double-edged sword for me. And no, I'm not talking about that one, come on now. I think it's very cool to give a Pokemon like Gengar a Mega Evolution because it's got 3 stages, but when you give it to someone like Sableye or Mawile, it's like, I would have rather seen another line in the evolution, but now since they have a Mega, you can't really give them another evolution down the line. Nowadays we have regional variants to justify evolutions for older Pokemon. You don't have to introduce a random item in a generation to justify its existence. But back when Gen 6 was still a thing, we were still getting evolutions to Pokemon just normally. I was hesitant to really fully accept it, but now with the regional variants, I'm cool with it. And I'm sure the competitive scene loved it too until, well, you know. Speaking of Pokemon that we're still getting evolutions, we have Eevee. The fairy type makes sense. It's really tough to introduce because Pokemon likes to do the thing where it's, oh, we didn't just create this one, it's newly discovered. Like it's always been there. My friend was always like, how come in Kanto I could do a karate chop to Jigglypuff and it'll wipe it out, but now it does nothing. It's like, don't worry about it, I guess. But when you look past that, it's a great addition. Balanced out Dragon type, it gives Poison and Steel more to do. Goodness. There are other cool additions to the game I enjoyed. First of all, the bottom screen. Oh my goodness, it's great. We got the PSS. Amazing. I know people like to meme around with Wonder Trade, but to actually go out of your way to request a trade for a Pokemon, that's great. That really helps with version exclusives. I'm not a competitive player. I'm just gonna say that right now. So battling wasn't huge for me, but regardless, it's a great addition for people who do, because battling is huge. Pokemon and me, I love Pokemon and me. I'm the type of player that loves the charm of Pokemon, and being able to actually pet your Pokemon, I ate this up. I think the minigames are kind of tedious, and the face recognition minigame straight up doesn't work. But being able to pet your Pokemon, to feed them, I love being able to actually interact with your Pokemon. And again, like I said, I'm not super big into competitive, but there's Super Training, which is a really cool way to make that more accessible competitive play. And even with breeding, they gave you a big long road to ride your bike down to hatch eggs. That's very nice of them. The 3D has some cool features with it. It has some really cool camera angles. You could sit on benches now and you bend down when you talk to people. That's really immersive. I love that. While not technically a 3D thing, they actually added artwork to the beginning of trainer and gym leader battles. That's such a nice touch and adds so much more charm. One more thing I want to touch on before wrapping this game up is the post-game. A lot of people dislike the post-game. I think it's pretty weak. You catch a legendary, you hunt for the Mega Stones, you have the battle Maison. But what saves the post-game for me is the looker missions. Wow, this is what Pokemon needs more of. Side quests. Similar to what I said with AZ, when you play a Pokemon game, you're expecting the normal things. But with these side missions, you get to have these separate stories being told, and they're shorter, sure, but you're telling these stories that Pokemon have the advantage of having. You have all these different monsters. Let's have stories told about them. And not even the monsters, the people themselves. The story with Emma, her Esper, Mimi are so good. And what's cool about them is that they actually flesh out some characters that are kind of just there. Malva from the Elite Four has more screen time. She's a part of Team Flare, which is crazy. You have Dr. Zorasic. That's a busy name. But it's so cool to just flesh out a random member of Team Flare like that. And besides that, it tells the story of a little girl struggling on the streets. Because you have Lumio City, all these alleyways, you might as well tell the story about it. I wish there were more of these. Pokemon would do fantastic with side quests. Little separate stories would go a long way. And oh, can we talk about the music for a second? Can we talk about the music? The music's really good in this game. For town specifically, you have songs that are energetic, like Salage City. Oh, what is that? Is too energetic for you. We got Snowbell City, here to calm you down. And then we got a song that's straight up from Mystery Dungeon, Den to Milltown. All the towns in these games give such a different vibe, and the music complements them really well. But enough talking about the pretty things, let's talk about the gameplay itself. So, the game may be in 3D, but it's still grid-based, which is very weird. It seems like Pokemon was kind of making like the half transition between fully 3D and 2D Pokemon, so you have things that are 3D, but you're still moving like it was a 2D game. So, to make up for that, we have roller skates. Look at that. Whenever you move with the circle pad, you have roller skates on, and they're kind of like a middle ground between running and the bike, so like they're medium speed. It makes you feel like you're walking around 3D, but sometimes you move a little too fast. The movement in this game is fine. You either feel like you're moving in 3D but going pretty fast, or you're moving grid-based and it doesn't even feel like a 3D game. And you could tell they had fun with this new 3D engine. Look at some of these evolution methods. In K, you have to have the system upside down. Like, alright. How are you supposed to figure that out? Some of the routes in this game are really unique. You get to ride Pokemon in some of these routes, and they're kind of sluggish, but it's just so cool to have that visual. HMs are still here, they're pretty optional. It's dumb that they take up move spots. Battles too are still turn-based, but again, you get to see their 3D models. It is so nice to see some of these Pokemon in 3D. But the biggest struggle with 3D battles has to be the slowdown. Oh, it slows down sometimes. A lot of the Pokemon models look really washed out at times too. Look at Stormy, that is barely purple. That is a very, very light purple. But again, it's the first time they're doing 3D Pokemon. I'm sure they'll improve it over time. There are other updates to the Pokemon that I really enjoy. They updated their cries. I know a lot of people aren't happy with the change. I mean, Staraptor. But to have these sounds combined with the newer cries, it makes sense to update them. So it's a change I'm very happy they made, and it was also pretty necessary too. They actually introduced some new battles to the series. Inverse battles is very interesting. You have a Pokemon battle where the type matchups are reversed, and while it's extremely confusing, I think this is an idea that can be fleshed out. There's also horde battles, where you fight against a bunch of low-level little Pokemon. Very weird, because the game struggles with slowdown, and if you wanted to see the game really chug, oh, there you go. If you have a low-level Pokemon, these could actually do really well in them because you're knocking out a bunch of other, even lower-level Pokemon, so leveling up shouldn't be too bad. Sky battles, on the other hand, kind of the same thing. I don't understand why this was necessary. It's just a battle in the sky. I guess they wanted to take advantage of, whoa, we're 3D, look at us in the air. But it doesn't feel fleshed out. Again, it's just a battle, but with flying type Pokemon. So I hope you have a flying type on your team, or else you're not getting experience. Oh, speaking of experience, transition o'clock. You get experience now after you catch Pokemon in battles, which, I mean, that's fine. Yeah, I guess they technically were in a battle. Alright, well, kinda have to start talking about the Don fan in the room. The biggest complaint for Pokemon, the difficulty. Oh, we gotta talk about the experience share. A lot of people don't like that the experience share gives your full party experience when only one battles. And at least you could turn it off. I think an experience share for your whole party works if the game is balanced around it. If you give them a small amount of trainer battles, then the experience share shouldn't be a problem. But since you could turn it off in this game, there are still a ton of trainer battles. So if you have it on and do the trainer battles, you're good. A lot of trainers don't use Mega Evolution. Only like Diantha and Lysander use them. So it's like you just have an advantage the entire game. And if you thought you would have trouble catching a Mega, here's a Lucario that likes you. And it's like, you can't tell me that a Lucario that I would assume Karina raised would look at another trainer and be like, there's the potential, I'm leaving you, thanks for raising me. But like, what if we got a Riolu? And then we train that, you know, it's like, oh, here's a new Pokemon that doesn't have the bond with Karina and her family yet. Let's go with this new trainer. You look like you have the potential for Mega Evolution. That would be cool, because then you grow the bond with the Riolu to Lucario. You don't need to have the Mega to learn about Mega Evolution. And besides, you get a second starter who has the Mega Evolution anyway from Professor Sycamore's. 2 starters. And then when the game came out, they gave you a Torchic. You get a Lapras right after. You get the Lucario because you gotta go surfing. You get so many handouts in this game that even if you don't use the experience share, you're not gonna have a tough time. It's very easy, this game, and that is the biggest issue people have. There is no reason why Pokemon shouldn't have a hard mode. With Black and White 2, they introduced hard mode and easy modes, so there should be no reason that if you beat the game, it unlocks a hard mode. That would literally be all you need to do. If you're a new player, that's fine. If this is your first Pokemon game, that's great, but does that make up for the lack of difficulty? Does that make up for the more simplistic story? It depends. As I said, am a player who enjoys the immersion and charm of this game over anything. I've played a good amount of RPGs. The main thing I look for when I play an RPG is being invested in the world, and this game does a fantastic job of investing me in the world. If you're going to Pokemon for difficulty, this is not the one to play. So, was this really the point where Pokemon became bad? No. If you compare it directly to the generation previously with Black and White, there is a lot left to be desired. If you look at the battles alone, look at this sprite work, look at how it moved, where there's so much life in just this set of pixels, and then there is in this 3D model. But when you look at X and Y, it's not really Gen 6. It's like Generation 1 3D. This is the beginning of 3D Pokemon. Black and White was the peak of 2D Pokemon, and now they're resetting this series in 3D, and they're gonna learn this engine and improve it. But from what Pokemon Y did from Pokemon Black and White was make everything a new perspective. Not only is 3D here, but you can also interact with the environment better. You bend down when you talk to people, you could sit in benches, you could actually pet your Pokemon. All of these Pokemon got 3D models with updated cries. Yes, it's still grid-based, they obviously have some work to do there, but they're taking this formula, which is very similar in each game, but now it's in 3D. Storytelling purposes, it's very simple, and I think they wanted to keep it simple because, again, this is a new era of Pokemon, not just a new generation. So yeah, the difficulty is pretty easy, and the storytelling is pretty plain, but if you just want to have a good time, if you want to let yourself get immersed into a world, I don't think there's a more charming region to visit than Kalos. So yeah, that concludes our trip back to the Kalos region. This was a really feel-good game to play. Challenge wasn't really there again, but like sometimes like it's just good to play a game to just like relax to, like Animal Crossing, you know? It's just something to just enjoy. And I'm happy I enjoyed my time back with this because like there's so many games you play in your childhood that you think are awesome and then you go back and you're like, oh, you know, it's not that great. I love movies and cartoons, and I had a ton of movie tie-in games for my GameCube, and then going back it's like, oh, this is considered shovelware. So, you know, you appreciate the ones that are decent, like Battle for Bikini Bottom. That's a great game. But I'm getting off topic here. Oh my goodness. Oh, my receipt. My receipt is still in there. Guy, wow. That's awesome. Oh, wow, that really hit me hard in the feels. Oh my goodness, my receipt's still in there. But yeah, I'm happy I got to talk about this game because, again, with this channel, I wanted to like do the coverage of the games that really just had an impact on me. I play a bunch of games, so being able to talk about like Steins Gate, Danganronpa, and now Pokemon, it's like all these games that had such an impact on me personally. I don't know what we're going to do next, but I know I'm probably not going to do one for a little while because we're not done with Pokemon just yet. We're going to be actually talking a little bit about Pokemon this year for its anniversary. I've been working on a project for like the past year, I want to say, and I'm finally, like, I didn't want to do it because it was based on Pokemon, and I wanted to talk about a Pokemon game first, so at least my channel could introduce the fact that I like Pokemon into it. But this was like a year in the making. This was my quarantine, like, project. Like, this is how I spent my time, and it was a big inspiration for, like, wanting to make this YouTube channel in the first place. But I don't want to spoil what it is because it's a big one, you know. This is going to take a lot of time to make multiple videos, and I really hope it comes out nice. But this is a great way to like whet the appetite of talking about Pokemon. But besides that, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you liked it. I can't wait to talk about more stuff for this channel, and it's been a little busy because of school. In college, it's messy. So I guess in that respect, replaying Pokemon Y was a great move because it gave me those good feels. But that about wraps it up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you're all doing well out there, and I hope whatever games you guys are playing right now, it's bringing you as much joy as Pokemon Y did for me.